wars going on at the same time. There was the after 9/11 hit that the economy took. The dot-com bubble burst as far as revenues. All of those things happened. So, but yeah, no, I would not argue for a second that he was any kind of a budget cutter. But a lot of us were talking about the deficit and about the debt at that time. Having said that, the deficits weren't, they have been 3 times greater than any deficit of George W. Bush.
Because of his policies.
No.
Anybody knows that.
Current?
No. Because of George W. Bush's policies, that's why we're in the ditch we're in now. And Obama's done a pretty darn good job of starting to get us out of it. So I don't understand why the Republicans bitch about the deficit now they never did then.
It's simply
The 2 wars they didn't pay for.
I mean, it's just factually incorrect.
It's correct.
You had the first year the president was in office, his deficit was $1.6 trillion. And then the next year was 1.5, I believe, now 1.3. We're heading to that again. I don't know how, I mean, is spending beyond what anyone ever dreamed.
You can argue the same thing about jobs. They were losing $700,000 jobs a month. Now they're gaining jobs every month.
That was
if you gained 1 job a month now, you'd be doing 700,000 times better than it was under the George W. Bush administration.
The fact of the matter is the reason we are. You remember the stimulus bill?
Yes.
That spent, with interest, it cost about $1.1 trillion.
That saved a lot of jobs.
When the president said that unemployment would never get, up to 8%, it's been 8% or higher ever since then. It actually cost jobs. Much of that money went overseas to create jobs. I mean, how can the spending on things like the stimulus, what the effect of the Wall Street bailout, the idea of giving the Secretary of Treasury $700 billion in a blank check to spend however you want, things like that really have added up. And when you put on top of that the cost of the health care bill, which is going to be over $2 trillion in the next 10 years, $800 billion of additional taxes. When you have the uncertainty out there as far as tax policy and regulatory policy, that is exactly why the economy is stuck where it is today. You don't, all you see are bad things coming down if you're a small business person today.
Did you just vote last week against this tax cut for small businesses?
Vote against the tax cut for small businesses.
Last week?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have to look at the details.
Okay.
I'll take the prerogative of the last question.
Okay.
Over your time that you've been in Congress, what would you say is your legislative highlight of something that's been signed into law?
I think, to me, the thing that's most important, that our National Guard, that was the bill that I had you referenced, I think, in the introduction, was for them to be able to have access to TRICARE or military health care. They always get it when they're deployed, or when they came back home, it was taken away from them. So what we did, and I had to work on a bipartisan basis, the gentleman from Mississippi with Hillary Clinton over in the Senate at that time, and we actually have in law today saying that if you're in the National Guard, you have access to TRICARE military health care whether you're deployed. And to me, and that's, I was given the National Minuteman Award by the Enlisted Association of the Guard and Reserve. Along with that, to work on some legislation that we've gotten done that actually will help veterans with their retirements. And that's, I got the know, that first one was the Sonny Montgomery Award. This is the Minuteman Award for the National Guard and Air Reserve Officers Association for that work. But those are, with the work that's being done, the commitment from our Guard and Reservists, I think, to me, is the most important thing for me was to get that done.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.